jacket that changed a life. Have you ever thought an old jacket could unlock an entire future? I bet you're shaking your head, but hear this story. It'll make you think twice. Picture this: Boston, December 2023, so cold your breath freezes in the air. Emma, a 21-year-old college student, is rushing back to her dorm after a long shift at her part-time job. She passes Mr. Henry, a homeless man who's always at the corner of Boylston Street. He's huddled up, no coat, his hands trembling as he tries to keep warm. People walk by, eyes straight ahead, no one stops. Emma could have done the same. She's broke, living off financial aid, barely scraping by on rent. But that day, she pauses. Emma looks at the sweater she's wearing, a birthday gift from her mom back home, the only thing keeping her warm in this brutal winter. It's not just a sweater. It's her family's love, bought with her mom's late-night shifts. Taking it off means freezing on the long walk home, but Emma remembers the days her own family slept on the streets when a stranger gave them a blanket. She thinks, "I can't turn away." Taking a deep breath, she pulls off the sweater, walks over, and drapes it over Mr. Henry's shoulders. He looks up, eyes teary, and whispers, "Young lady, thank you." Emma smiles, even as her teeth start to chatter, and walks away. But the story doesn't end there. Sarah, a girl waiting for a bus nearby, sees the whole thing. She posts on Twitter, "Just saw a young woman in Boston give her coat to a homeless man. Kindness is still alive." The post goes viral, racking up over 12,000 shares in just a few days. Boston Homeless Aid, a local charity, sees it and tracks Emma down. They invite her to share her story at their 2023 winter fundraising campaign. With her heartfelt voice, Emma helps them raise $28,000 for warm clothes and food. And the biggest surprise, a donor moved by her story nominates Emma for a master's scholarship at Boston University. Something she thought was just a dream because of the sky-high tuition. This is a true story, though names have been changed for privacy. It proves one thing: give sparingly, and you receive sparingly. Give generously, and you receive generously. Today we're diving into why generosity, whether a small act or a big one, can transform your life, from your wallet to your heart. You'll learn how to live generously, even when you're busy or broke, and see that when you give from the heart, life gives back in ways you can't imagine. Giving sparingly, limiting yourself. Now let's talk about giving sparingly. What comes to mind when you hear that? Maybe someone helping out but with strings attached, or giving just a little, grudgingly, like they're losing something precious. That's the scarcity mindset, seeing the world as if everything is limited and giving means losing your share. But I want you to pause and think, when you give sparingly, are you really saving anything, or are you limiting yourself? Meet Mike, a small grocery store owner in Texas. Mike's the kind of guy who counts every penny. A customer asks for a discount because they're struggling. He shakes his head, saying business needs profit. Employees ask for a raise because they work hard. Mike brushes them off. Keep doing good and we'll talk later. When the community hosts a charity event and asks Mike to donate some goods, he flat out refuses. I don't see the benefit. Mike thinks holding tight to his money and resources protects him. But what happens? Slowly, customers stop coming. It's not just the lack of discounts. They feel Mike's lack of sincerity. They start shopping at other stores where they feel valued. Mike's employees quit in droves. No one wants to work for a stingy boss. Worse, his reputation in the community tanks. Nobody wants to do business with someone who only takes and never gives. Eventually, Mike's store starts losing money, and he's forced to shut down. Mike gave sparingly, not just money, but trust, kindness, and opportunity. What he got back was isolation, failure, and a hard lesson. Now contrast that with Amy, who runs a bakery in California. Amy lives by a simple philosophy: giving is how you receive. She often tosses in a free cookie for kids at her shop, gives discounts to struggling customers, and every holiday, she hands out free pastries to poor kids in the neighborhood. With her employees, Amy's generous. She pays above average, gives big bonuses when business is good, and listens to their ideas. Guess what happens? Amy's bakery is always packed. Customers don't just come for the delicious treats, they love how Amy treats them. They tell their friends, post on social media, and Amy's reputation spreads like wildfire. Her employees are loyal, working with all their heart because they know they're valued. Even local organizations invite Amy to events, opening doors to new connections and business opportunities. Amy doesn't just get revenue. She gets love, respect, and a community that's got her back. So why does giving sparingly lead to limited results? Because when you give reluctantly, you create a closed loop of scarcity. You don't just limit the value you bring to others, you cut off your own potential for connection and opportunity. In America, where networking and reputation matter, being stingy can cost you valuable relationships. Think back to Emma. If she'd only given the homeless man an old pair of gloves instead of her favorite sweater, would her story have spread enough to change her life? Probably not. Giving sparingly brings small, fleeting results, but giving generously opens doors to rewards far beyond money, emotionally and socially too. Have you ever wondered how you're giving? If you're holding back out of fear, it might be time for a change. Next, we'll explore how giving generously can turn your life into a chain of unexpected opportunities. Don't miss it. Giving generously, reaping abundantly. Now for the fun part. Give generously and you receive generously. Being generous isn't just about opening your wallet. It's about sharing your time, knowledge, or kindness with an open heart, no strings attached. When you do that, you're planting seeds of gratitude, connection, and opportunity. And trust me, those seeds will sprout in ways you can't even imagine. Take Tom, a high school teacher in Ohio. Tom doesn't have much money. His teacher's salary barely covers his bills. But Tom has something more valuable than gold: a heart that wants to help. Every day after school, he stays late, tutoring struggling math students for free. He doesn't do it for praise or reward, he just wants his kids to feel confident and have better chances. Years later, Tom gets a surprise email. It's from a former student, now a CEO of a big tech company. The email reads, "Mr. Tom, I'll never forget your after-school sessions. They got me into college and led to where I am today." The student invites Tom to consult on an education project. That gig not only brings Tom more money than he ever made teaching, it connects him with educators, entrepreneurs, and influencers. From a few free tutoring hours, Tom planted a seed that grew into a whole new future. Another example is the Pay It Forward movement, huge in America. The idea is simple but powerful. Do something kind for a stranger, then encourage them to do the same. Like paying for the coffee of the person behind you at Starbucks. That person, touched by your kindness, might pay for someone's meal at a restaurant. And so, a chain of goodness begins. I heard about Lisa in Seattle. One day, she paid the bus fare for a stranger who forgot their wallet. The guy thanked her profusely and promised to pay it forward. Weeks later, Lisa runs into him at a community event. Turns out, he's an event organizer. To thank her, he invites Lisa to promote her small business in a project. That opportunity doubles her revenue in months. From a small act, a couple bucks for a bus ticket, Lisa unlocked a future she never expected. Generosity can even transform communities. Think of Habitat for Humanity, where thousands of American volunteers build homes for families in need. These houses aren't just shelter, they bring stability, letting families send kids to school and build better lives. Those kids often grow up to give back, creating a positive cycle. And the volunteers? They don't get paid, but they gain joy, connections, and sometimes career opportunities from the relationships they build. My friend Mark volunteered with Habitat for Humanity. He told me about meeting a famous architect while working on a house. They hit it off, and the architect later introduced Mark to a big firm, landing him a design contract worth tens of thousands. Mark said, "I just showed up to help others, but I ended up gaining more than I gave." That's the power of generosity. When you give generously, you create a circle of value. You don't just help others, you open doors for yourself. What you plant today, time, kindness, or a small act, will come back, often in the most unexpected ways. Ready to start planting? Next, I'll show you how to begin, no matter how much or little you have. How to start giving generously. You might be thinking, this sounds great, but I'm not rich. How can I give generously? I get it. Not everyone has millions to donate or free time all day. But here's the good news. Generosity doesn't depend on your bank account. It depends on your heart and intention. Here are 4 simple, meaningful ways to start living generously today, no matter where you are or what you have. First, give your time. Time is our most precious asset. When you give it to others, you're saying, "You matter." In America, millions volunteer, like serving meals at soup kitchens during Thanksgiving. They say helping others brings more joy than money. You don't need to do something huge, just spend an hour helping a kid in your neighborhood learn to read or helping a friend move. These small moments can make a big impact. I remember David in Chicago. He's a busy office worker but spends one afternoon a week volunteering at a community center teaching kids basketball. He doesn't get paid, but he says the kids' smiles are worth more than any paycheck. One day, a grateful parent connected David with a sports company where he landed a part-time coaching gig. That job not only brought extra income, but let him live his passion. Second, share your knowledge. Got a special skill? Cooking, writing, fixing cars, or just organizing your day better? Teach someone. Sharing knowledge is one of the most generous acts because it gives people tools to improve their lives. My friend Sarah ran free cooking classes for single moms in her neighborhood. She taught them how to make cheap, healthy, tasty meals from simple ingredients. Those moms didn't just learn recipes, they regained confidence and joy in caring for their families. Surprise twist, a local restaurant heard about Sarah's classes and hired her to develop new menu items. That gig boosted her income and reputation as a creative chef. By sharing her skills, Sarah opened a new door for herself. Third, practice small acts of kindness. You don't need grand gestures to make a difference. A smile to a stranger, a sincere compliment, or giving up your seat on the bus can brighten someone's day. In America, random acts of kindness are a big deal. They create a domino effect, spreading positive energy. I saw a small but unforgettable story. A man in New York paid the bus fare for a young woman who forgot her wallet. She was so moved, she shared the story online, inspiring dozens to do similar acts. That woman later became a champion of kindness in her community. One tiny act sparked a chain of positivity. Fourth, give a little. Regularly, if you can, donate a small amount to meaningful causes, like disaster relief or local charities. It doesn't have to be a lot. A few bucks a month can make a difference. More importantly, it makes you feel part of something bigger. Try one of these 4 ways today. You'll see generosity doesn't take away, it makes you richer in spirit and opportunities. Ready? Next, we'll explore how generosity can skyrocket your business. Generosity in business, a secret weapon. Generosity isn't just for personal life, it's a secret weapon in business. America's most successful companies don't just chase profits, they focus on giving. They give to customers, employees, and communities, creating a cycle of prosperity where generosity fuels long-term success. Look at Patagonia, an outdoor clothing company. Patagonia doesn't just sell great products, they're committed to saving the planet. They donate 1% of their annual revenue to conservation groups, no small sum for a big company. They even encourage customers to repair old clothes instead of buying new ones, offering free repair services. Sounds crazy in a world where businesses want you to buy more, right? But here's what happens. Customers love Patagonia, not just for the gear, but for the values it stands for. They become loyal, happy to spend on a brand they trust. Patagonia also attracts top talent, people passionate about the environment who want to work for a meaningful company. The result? Patagonia enjoys steady profits and is one of America's most beloved brands. Their generosity doesn't cost them, it multiplies their success. Then there's John, a restaurant owner in New Orleans. In 2005, when Hurricane Katrina devastated the city, thousands lost homes, jobs, and hope. While many businesses shut down, John did something unexpected. He opened his restaurant to serve free meals to those affected. He didn't just provide food, he created a space for people to share stories, comfort each other, and find hope. That act turned John's restaurant into a symbol of hope in a city drowning in despair. As New Orleans recovered, customers flocked to John's place. They didn't just come for the food, they wanted to support someone who gave when times were toughest. John's revenue soared, and he got partnership offers from community groups. Generosity didn't just help John survive the crisis, it launched him to new heights in business. Why does generosity work in business? Because it builds trust and reputation, two things worth more than gold in a place like America, where customers and employees judge businesses not just by products, but by the value they bring. When you give, whether it's free products, heartfelt service, or community support, you create lasting relationships. Customers remember you, employees stay loyal, and communities back you up. Think of a small coffee shop on the corner. If the owner occasionally gives a free coffee to regulars or hosts a free drink day for healthcare workers during a pandemic, what happens? Customers tell their friends, post online, and that shop becomes a local favorite. That's the power of generosity. It's not just ethical, it's smart strategy. If you run a business, big or small, ask yourself, what can I give to create value? Maybe it's a free product, a special service, or just listening to your customers. What you give today will come back, often tenfold. What a journey we've been on today, right? From Emma's jacket, we saw how a small act can ripple out, changing not just someone else's life, but your own future. From Tom, the teacher tutoring kids for free, we learned that sharing knowledge can unlock unexpected opportunities. From Patagonia and John, we realized generosity in business isn't just moral, it's the key to trust, reputation, and lasting success. The saying, give sparingly, receive sparingly, give generously, receive generously, isn't just a philosophy, it's a way of life. Generosity doesn't require wealth or power, it just takes an open heart and a desire to create value. A small act of kindness, like paying for a stranger's coffee, listening to a friend, or donating a few bucks to charity, can start a chain of positivity. The seeds you plant today will grow into opportunities, connections, and joy tomorrow. Here's my challenge to you today. Do one generous thing, no matter how small. Maybe text encouragement to someone struggling, teach a skill, or smile at a stranger. Do it with an open heart, expecting nothing in return. Then come back and tell me your story. What did you give? And how did it feel? I really want to hear. If you're wondering, I want to live more generously, but where do I start? Remember the 4 simple ways. Give your time, share your knowledge, practice kindness, and contribute a little when you can. You don't need to change the world, just change one moment, one person, and the world will respond. Thanks for watching this video. If it inspired you, hit that like button to let me know you're with me. Subscribe and ring the bell so you don't miss our next videos where we'll keep exploring how to live meaningfully and prosperously. And share this video with a friend. You might just inspire them to start their own generosity journey. Drop in the comments and tell me, what's something you've given and what did you get back? Or what will you do today to live more generously? I read every comment because your stories inspire me and everyone else. See you in the next video, and remember, live generously, live abundantly.